Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that this brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Welcome to Brainstorm. I'm excited to address this intriguing theme, equality education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Is it still possible? I'd like to address this theme with you and try to find the answer to the following question, so please pay attention. What are some key factors to equality education? Where should a basic education start? And does a quality education require a major reform in this sector? I'm pleased on this stage to host my guest, whose name is Mufuta Kadima. Mufuta Kadima is a freelancer, translator, and interpreter, and teacher of English. Hi.
Hello, Mr. Guy.
Very, very pleased to welcome you on this stage.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk about a quality education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. A lot of people are still optimistic that it's possible to provide a quality education. So you are here for at least 26 minutes to discuss with you this intriguing subject. So before we broaden the topic, I would like you to break down the concept education.
Okay, education is the method of teaching and learning. Now, here we are going to focus on the education at school, because the education can be acquired at school or school-like environment, or it can be acquired through pleasures or leisures or through other environment or in the society. And what we can have in mind is that education is the fact of conveying or transmitting the knowledge and receiving the knowledge to other people.
Okay, your understanding is about education, the acquisition of knowledge. That's education according to you. There are some implications of education, so we'd like you to follow in this video and we'll be back. Please watch.
What is education? Is education earning certificates? Is education graduating? Is education just attending the college? Or is education attending an online class? What is this education? Nelson Mandela said that no country can progress unless all the citizens are educated. Education is the most powerful weapon that can be used to transform the world. Education is a great engine for development. Unless we understand what the education is, we cannot make an impact in this world, and we cannot move any further. So understanding the education is very important. So let us examine what is education. Education is development. Education is humility. Education is learning. Education is building relationships. Education is being respectful. Education is being responsible. Education is embracing values. Education is respecting nature. Education is wellness. Education is transformation. And finally, education is knowing who you are. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was a chancellor between 1953 and 1962 in the University of Delhi. During one of those convocations, after the convocation was over, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was chatting with a lot of the students, and one group of the students approached Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan and asked him, "Sir, we are leaving this college and we're going to go to the real world. What's your message for us?" And Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan said, "Now that you are graduated, go get educated." Back then, in 50s, what he meant of education was just what I've just said. So education is not merely earning certificates, degrees, online certificates, and other. Education means that all those things we have discussed. When you really understand what this education is, then you will be making an impact into the society as well as in the world and to the country. That's when the whole society progresses forward.
Okay, now let's go on with education. There are some, as we talked about, key factors. Can you name some of them that guarantee or assure a quality education?
Okay. Some key factors that guarantee a quality education are, we have first teaching methods. What are the methods that are used? We have, apart from teaching method, we have also teachers who are teaching. Are teachers who are teaching trained? If they are trained, are they well trained? These are questions that should be raised. And apart from that, we have also the environment. Where do students are studying? Where are they studying? Do they have any necessary tools to study for a good education? We have also the education system. What is the system applied in the Democratic Republic of Congo? What are the methods used in our school? These are questions that are being raised. And if solutions are met with these questions, it will assure a quality education in our country.
You mentioned methodology and infrastructure in terms of school, location, teachers as well. So can you say that the Democratic Republic of Congo has ever provided a quality education?
Saying that the Democratic Republic of Congo has ever provided a quality education, I think it is unfair. I'm sure because under Belgian leadership, people were coming from all over the world, all over the Africa, from South Africa, from Zambia, Zimbabwe, to come and to learn in our university, University of Kinshasa, former Lovanium. And they were also coming to learn at the University of Lubumbashi. So at that time, the DRC provided a quality education. And saying that DRC has never provided a quality education, I think it is unfair.
So that is in the past. When you look back in the past year, the quality was better. And what about nowadays? Quality of education we have in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But I don't want you to give some further information on that. I'd like the audience to watch the situation of education in Democratic Republic of Congo. And then we include the schools and teachers situation, parents as well, who provide for their children's education. Please watch and we're back.
This school is located in a crowded neighborhood of Kinshasa, the capital city of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Like every year, within the first 3 months of the school start, over 200 students dropped out. Congo is facing a national disaster. According to the latest data, half of all children do not go to school. Of those that do, most are boys, and only half will reach the 5th grade. The government budget for education is not enough to pay operational expenses, let alone teacher salaries. Parents are therefore forced to pay high school fees. In a country where just feeding one's children is often an issue, educating them becomes secondary. UNICEF contributes by providing many primary schools in the DRC with copybooks, writing boards and desks. Every day, the school headmistress visits the classes. She checks on a student's progress. She checks, hoping that no more have dropped out.
The problem is the financial difficulties that parents are facing. They can't afford the school fees, as a lot of them are out of a job. Even children of public servants cannot afford the fees.
6th grade teacher Marie-Clarence Malala has been teaching at the school for almost 25 years. She shares the few donated textbooks with other teachers. As a result, music and songs have become key to ensure her class is lively and children are learning. Mary has 4 children. Her 2 youngest attend the same school.
Educating girls is educating a nation, so we have to educate our children. We African mothers from the Congo, we suffer, but we cannot let our children wander around. We have to orientate them to school.
Yet Mary's other 2 children who should be in secondary school had to drop out. Her $45 monthly pay is barely enough to make ends meet, let alone cover the school fees for all her children. Mary hopes that her children and all of her students will be able to continue their studies and go to secondary school, but she knows that for most it will take a miracle. This is Natasha Ikoli reporting for UNICEF Television. Unite for Children.
Okay, that's good. Now, to ensure a quality education, what are the responsibilities of learners?
Yes, the learners have a great responsibilities. Learners should first attend the school regularly, because if you don't come regularly, how are you going to follow the course? That's the big problem. And apart from that, learners should read a lot. They should do their own researches. Don't focus only on what the school is giving to you. Today, you have the internet at your disposal. Learners must save the internet and to further their knowledge. And apart also from that, we have also the education facilities. Learners should respect their people and they should respect each other, because they say charity begins at home. Learners should respect themselves and respect others.
Okay, to be clear, by learners we mean pupils or students who go to a school. They need to do it on a regular basis. A regular attendance is one important factor for them to ensure a better education. They need to apply what they learn to study, to do research as well. But there is a sad reality in Congo. We know that to be a regular attendant at school, parents sometimes cannot provide full school fees, and those children are kicked out. They're not allowed to have access to education or to classrooms. Can you say that this can enable a quality education?
That is a very, very tough situation in our country, very difficult and very sad. But I thank the current administration, which has come with the project of free education. That project has allowed more than 2 million people to go to school. Children who are called street children, who could not afford college, who could not afford schools, but today they are able to go to school, and I congratulate the current administration for that.
Okay, does it take a closer collaboration between parents and teachers to achieve a quality education?
For sure. The education, parents and teachers should be in common. They should collaborate. Why? Because the one who knows or the one who knows well the child is the parent. And if parents are in collaboration with the teachers, it will be easier for them to tell them that, my child likes this, did not like this, and is more interested in this, is doing this. And all these factors are going to help the teachers to know how to orient the child. And the teacher as well, if he notices that there is something wrong with the child is not interested, he becomes lazy, he may let his parent know that pay attention, try to tell to your child nowadays is becoming lazy, and you see that it is good to have a frank collaboration between parents and teachers.
But now let's focus on a basic education. Where should it start? From home or from school? Because there is a close collaboration between parents and the teachers.
Yes. All depends with what you understand by basic education. According to the Ministry of Education, the basic education starts from pre-primary to secondary lower secondary school. That is called basic education. But when it comes to education provided at home with parents, I don't know how to call it, but I do believe that the basic education starts from pre-primary to lower secondary school, according to officials.
So there are questions raised by the viewers, and some of them are asking the question because we don't see the impact, the positive impact or outputs of what the children or to school pupils or students go to learn at school. At the end of their training, they don't have a good morality. They don't have a command of what they have been taught to school. So now, it's true that there is a kind of a breakdown. So what are the main causes of Congolese education breakdown? So we speak about breakdown. What is the main causes of it?
The main causes of education breakdown, why the education system in the DRC is spoiled. First, I do believe that it is first the political instability caused by wars and by natural disasters. Do you know that here in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the basic education is not universal? Children from the eastern part cannot go to school because of war, because of natural disasters, and all these things are contributing to the spoiling of the education. Apart from that, we have also the political will. The political will from decision makers. Decision makers should take the responsibility, the huge responsibility, to provide the education with necessary means to allow many children to go to school and to have a quality education. But when they are not interested, when teachers are badly paid, so how come that results in what you said, bad education, breakdown in education, and children are not well taught, and after completing their studies, they are unable to defend themselves.
Okay, for further information on what you've just come to give explanation, we'd like the audience to watch this video on education in Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a kind of report. Please watch.
In Kinshasa, a mobile school for street kids. Quality equipment, committed teachers, and a well-organized NGO. Some say it is better than real school. Congo schools are in an appalling condition. The World Bank has allocated $150 million to refurbish over 25,000 of them. Officially, the money is being well spent. The reality on the ground tells another story.
The school is in very bad shape. When it rains, the blackboard gets all wet. Then there are also pupils who don't come because they can't pay for school. Those who do come have to sit on the floor or on these bad quality benches.
But teachers are still committed. This woman has been teaching for over 30 years. She gets less than $100 a month. It's not enough to feed the family.
Sometimes we teachers come to school on an empty stomach, so after 2 or 3 classes we get tired.
Even the best schools are not spared. The Athénée de la Gombe once produced Congo's top elite. A Chinese mobile phone company just painted the facade. In exchange, it was allowed to install its antenna on the premises. The classrooms have never been refurbished. Kinshasa's real estate is booming. Former ministers have sold schools as real estate. One is not allowed to see the luxury apartment blocks being built. Each flat will be rented to foreigners for about $4,000 a month. It's more profitable than investing in the public school system. The ministers involved were not available for comments. Many schools have recently had a chunk of their land handed over to private businessmen. A grassroots association expresses concern.
These days all you hear is, let's rebuild the country. But you can't rebuild a country without schools and a proper educational system. What we're seeing here isn't going in this direction. That's destroying the country.
Faced with corruption and pressure from the real estate industry, for now, Congo's government, as well as the World Bank, seem unable to protect the schools.
Okay, but now, there's the Democratic Republic of Congo as a role model when it comes to education. Just to a model to copy, to follow, just to say, okay, this is the best way to do in order to assure a good education. That's the Democratic Republic of Congo as a fashion or a model.
I don't think so, because the system, the education system we are adopting comes from Belgium. We have adopted it, and let me tell you that for me, to me, it is a bad system because they are training people to use their memory. You know, when you go to school, when you sit for the exam, they ask you, for example, what is geography? And when you give the definition given by someone else, they gave you 10 out of 10. But this is not a good system. I think that we should adopt the British system, the system which uses the brain. These are questions that can be asked, discussed, explained, comment, to allow children to use their brain instead of using their memory.
Okay, now let's touch on another aspect of free education. We know that the Congolese constitution provides free education for primary, secondary, and technical school. Does the application of this arrangement bring about a change?
Free education from primary, secondary, yes, it brought a huge change. Why? I told you earlier here that thanks to free education, more than 2 million people now can afford schools. Orphans and street children, today they can afford schools, they can go to school thanks to the free education. It is a very good project, but unfortunately, I can tell you that the government went in a hurry. It should first organize things very well and after that, start the implementation of free education.
Okay, free education in the DRC. What do the factors show? Please watch.
Schools have reopened in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but the threat of a teachers' strike is looming on the horizon. If it goes ahead, the strike will seriously compromise the provision of free primary education, a project launched by President Felix Tshisekedi in September 2019. Despite the threat of strike, for many parents, this represents a step towards normality. The first day of school this year is better than last year. A number of students have returned to school despite the COVID-19 difficulties we experienced last year, says Florence, a parent. Teachers reclaim better salaries. Unlike in the past, parents no longer pay teachers directly. Instead, the salaries are paid by the government. As teachers, we want to support the lift of school fees while we wait for our promised salary. We need to receive something more, of course. The cost of providing free education in the Democratic Republic of Congo is estimated at $2.64 billion a year. The country's yearly budget reaches $7 billion.
All right, we're moving ahead. We're now going to talk about now school infrastructures, which are disrepaired. Can it be a problem for hosting a required number of pupils because there are schools in disrepair? So is this also another factor that impair or constitutes just an obstacle to a better education?
For sure. It is a huge obstacle to children. Can you imagine the government does not have necessary infrastructures for children? And today, of course, it is a good news. They applied free education. But go to those government or public institutions. You will find students are packed like sardines in a tin. They are learning in a very, very bad situation since the government does not have enough infrastructures. The government does not provide children with enough skill, enough tools, and those are factors that are contributing to the devastation of our education system.
Okay, nobody would disagree with you, especially Congolese, when it comes to school infrastructure's quality as well. So what are some reforms that could be undertaken to bring about a real change and assure a quality education in the DRC?
Yes, to me, I think that the government must take its responsibility. The government should pay well. Teachers must be well paid because teachers, they are those who are transmitting the knowledge to the students. When they are not paid, when they are badly paid, how will the education be? That's the big problem. And apart from that, the government should provide necessary, they should build infrastructures. They should provide children with enough tools, they should supply them. And in that way, I think that students will be able to learn in a very good conditions.
Okay, I agree with you. There are uncountable challenges to be met, right, to assure a good education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So we'd like you just to watch this video that depicts the conditions in which students study, namely in the eastern part of Congo. Please watch.
In war-ravaged Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, going to school is perhaps the one thing that keeps children connected to a normal life. It allows them to dream about the future.
I want to become a doctor, and like that I can help all the children and my parents and all that. If I stayed at home, I don't know where I would study. At school I am able to study, and we eat here too.
Parce que j'étudiais bien, en bonne santé, je mange en abondance.
The ongoing violence has shut down many schools and disrupted the education of almost all the children here.
The conflict erupted when the primary and secondary schools were opening in the villages. The children could not stay in the middle of the fighting, so they found themselves here.
It's estimated that more than 800,000 people in North Kivu region are displaced, and about a third of them are children. When they fled, few families had time to bring anything with them. Most arrived penniless and unable to support their families. There was no money for school fees.
We have difficulties paying the school fees. We are displaced and we have no one to pay for us. And at the same time, we don't have any work here.
Bonane is one of about 1,000 displaced students who go to the primary and secondary schools outside Buhemba camp. To accommodate the flood of students who were uprooted in 2007, local schools were expanded with the help of humanitarian agencies. To encourage displaced children to attend, lunch is served and primary school is free, but secondary school is not.
Studies start at 7:30 in the morning and finish around 2:15. When we leave here, we go home. And at home, there is nothing to eat.
Despite free primary education, families are often too poor to send their children to class. They are forced to decide between sending them to school or out to work. Escalating food prices make it even harder for families to make ends meet. The result is only a third of the displaced youth here at Buhemba camp are going to school. And even they are obliged to work.
I take a machete and go to the forest. We help our parents cut trees for firewood, so they can take it to the market and make some money.
Expanding the schools is just the first step. Now they need books and teachers need to be paid. But more importantly, families need the financial means to send their children to class. Without the ability to attend school, the majority of youngsters will never have the chance to escape the cycle of poverty which feeds the conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo.
All right, so now we're gonna try to talk about the tomorrow's elites. Where this quality, there's a bad quality education in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Not all, but there are some good schools like private schools. It takes a lot of means. Can we really assure tomorrow's elites of young people who are well educated in school?
Unfortunately, with what is happening on the ground, no. I'm not sure.
You are pessimistic.
Not pessimistic, but according to what is happening on the ground, I'm not sure. Why am I not sure? Because I've told you that our system is not a good system. They are training, university is training the job hunters or job seekers instead of training job creators. And these are problems. They are training people who should use their memory just to remind what someone has said, instead of training people who can think, who can use his brain to think, to bring out solution to what the country needs.
Looking at the future, can you honestly say that this present generation of Congolese people who study and who learn is sacrificed, as regards the future is really dark? Can you say that the present generation is sacrificed?
Yeah, to some extent, yes. But measures can be taken to overcome these situations. Measures can be taken if the government, for example, install the British system of education using the brain instead of using the memory. If the government provides enough tools, supply schools with infrastructures, supply students with tools for them to learn in a better conditions, I think that this young generation will not be sacrificed.
Okay, Thanks so much for your clear explanations. You were really great on this platform. So I'd like you to sum up. What does the future hold for Congolese education? Can you sum up in a few words?
Yes, for Congolese education, so I'm a Congolese as well. I'm optimistic that the government is going to do something for our country. I urge those who are following me today and the government just to put all necessary measures in place to provide a quality education for our young generation, because they say that in the country we have to give priority to the young generation because they are those who will become decision makers in the future.
Okay, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your explanations provided on this platform.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited at the end of this talk show. We were pleased just to discuss this subject in depth. Is not enough, but next time we look forward to discussing other issues related to education. So we were happy that you were many to watch this program. We'd like you just to continue doing so and stay tuned on the Second National Channel. Take care of yourself. Have a nice day. Bye. Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that this brainstorm.
Yourself after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.